November 22nd, 1963. Dallas, Texas. A bright day, crowds cheering. The president smiles, waving from his open car. Then, bang, a shot. Then another, and another. Screams fill the air. Panic, chaos. The most powerful man in the world is dead. But who pulled the trigger? And why? Chapter 1. Dallas. The day that changed America. November 22nd, 1963. Dallas, Texas. The sun shines brightly. The sky is clear. A warm breeze moves through the city streets. People gather on the sidewalks, waiting. Excitement fills the air. The president is coming. A long black car moves slowly through the crowd. A convertible limousine. The roof is open. President John F. Kennedy sits inside. Next to him, his wife, Jackie Kennedy, wears a pink suit and matching hat. She waves, smiling. The people wave back, cheering. Beside the president, Governor John Connally sits with his wife. In front, 2 Secret Service agents keep watch. The motorcade glides forward. The president's face is calm, his smile warm. He loves meeting the people. He believes in hope, in a better future for America. The car turns onto Elm Street. It moves past the Texas School Book Depository, a tall brick building. People lean forward, eager to see him. Some hold cameras. Others hold signs. Many wave American flags. Suddenly, a loud sound breaks the air. Bang! The crowd freezes. A second later. Bang! Then again. Bang! Screams. Gasps. People drop to the ground. Others run, pushing through the crowd. Faces turn pale with shock. In the car, Jackie Kennedy turns to her husband. His hands rise toward his neck. His eyes are wide. Blood stains his crisp, dark suit. He falls forward. The driver speeds up. A Secret Service agent jumps onto the car, pushing Jackie back. The car races toward the hospital. Sirens wail. At Parkland Memorial Hospital, doctors and nurses rush forward. They push the president's stretcher inside. His face is still. His hands do not move. Minutes later, a doctor steps into the hallway. His voice is low, his eyes filled with sorrow. The president is dead. Silence. A great sadness spreads across the hospital, across the city, across the country. In Washington, D.C., people cry in the streets. Radios and televisions broadcast the news. The world listens in shock. The president was young, full of energy, full of ideas, and now gone. At Love Field Airport, Air Force One waits. The president's body is brought inside. Aboard the plane, a judge holds a Bible. Lyndon B. Johnson, the vice president, stands before her. His face is tight. His hands shake. He places one hand on the Bible. He repeats the oath of office. In that moment, America has a new president. But the pain does not fade. People demand answers. Who did this, and why? In the streets of Dallas, police rush to find the killer. Witnesses speak. Someone saw a man in a window, a rifle. A suspect is found. Lee Harvey Oswald. A young man, a former Marine, a traveler between worlds. Some say he is a lone gunman. Others say he is part of something bigger. Oswald is arrested in a movie theater. He looks calm. His voice is steady. "I didn't do it," he says. "I'm just a patsy." But the evidence grows. A rifle, fingerprints, a photograph. 2 days later, Oswald is led through the Dallas police headquarters. Reporters crowd around. Cameras flash. He walks forward, guarded by officers. Then, a man steps from the crowd, a gun in his hand. Bang! Oswald falls. His body hits the ground. Blood spreads across his shirt. His eyes close. He never speaks again. The man who shot him? Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, a man with many secrets. Now, 2 men are dead. The questions grow deeper. Who really killed the president? Was it only one man? Or was there more to the story? The world wants answers, but the truth remains in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. Just hours after the shooting, a young man is arrested in a movie theater. His name? Lee Harvey Oswald. He denies everything. "I'm just a patsy," he shouts. But was he really the killer? Or was someone using him to hide the truth? Chapter 2. Lee Harvey Oswald. Lone gunman or scapegoat? The city of Dallas is in shock. The president is dead. The country is mourning. The streets are filled with whispers, fear, and confusion. People want answers. Who pulled the trigger? Who took the life of John F. Kennedy? Police move quickly. Witnesses describe a man in a high window at the Texas School Book Depository. A rifle. A figure disappearing. Officers rush inside. The 6th floor is empty, but a rifle is found. A sniper's nest. Shell casings on the ground. The shooter is gone. In another part of the city, a policeman named J.D. Tippit patrols the streets. He stops to speak with a man walking alone. A brief exchange, then gunfire. The officer falls, his killer runs. A call goes out. A suspect is on the move. Minutes later, police storm into a small movie theater. A man sits inside. He does not run. He does not fight. He looks up, his face calm, but his eyes watchful. Officers surround him. A struggle. A gun is pulled from his hands. His name is Lee Harvey Oswald. He is taken into custody. The police question him. The cameras flash. The world is watching. "Did you kill the president?" Reporters shout. He does not look afraid. His voice is strong. "I didn't shoot anybody." Then, louder. "I'm just a patsy." A strange word. A patsy. A person set up to take the blame. Who is Lee Harvey Oswald? A former Marine. A man who once lived in the Soviet Union. A young father. A factory worker. A dreamer. A drifter. He had traveled the world but never seemed to find his place. He spoke of communism, of revolutions. He believed in change, in power, in destiny. But did he believe in murder? The evidence against him grows. His fingerprints are on the rifle. A photograph shows him holding the same gun. A witness says he saw him in the window, aiming at the president's car. The police are certain this is their man. But not everyone believes it. His family is confused. His wife, Marina, is in tears. She does not know what to believe. He was not a violent man, she says. He was a father, a husband. But he had secrets. He spoke of important things. He talked of history, of politics, of being remembered. Oswald is moved from his cell. Reporters crowd around. The cameras roll. The world listens. They want to see the man accused of killing the president. They want to hear his words. Then, everything changes. Sunday morning, Dallas Police Headquarters. Oswald is being led through the basement, escorted by officers. A crowd of reporters waits. Cameras are live. Millions of people are watching on television. Oswald walks forward. His hands are tied. His expression is blank. The flashes of cameras light up the room. Suddenly, a man steps out of the crowd, a gun in his hand. A shot rings out. Oswald's body jerks. His face twists in pain. He falls to the ground. Gasps fill the room. The police tackle the shooter. People scream. The cameras keep rolling. Oswald groans. His breath is shallow. Blood spreads across his stomach. His eyes flutter. He is carried away. At Parkland Hospital, the same doctors who tried to save President Kennedy now try to save Oswald. Their hands work quickly. Their voices are urgent, but it is no use. Oswald is dead. The man who shot him? Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, a man with ties to criminals, to the underground world of Dallas. He says he did it for Jackie Kennedy, that he could not bear to see her suffer through a trial. But others are not so sure. Oswald is gone. He will never speak again. He will never defend himself. He will never explain. The questions remain. Did Oswald act alone? Did he really kill Kennedy? Or was he silenced before he could tell the truth? Some believe the evidence is clear. One man, one gun, 3 shots. Others believe in something darker, that Oswald was part of a conspiracy, a small player in a bigger plan, a pawn in a game he did not control. The Warren Commission is formed. The government investigates. They review the evidence. They listen to witnesses. They study every detail. The final conclusion? Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. But the whispers do not stop. The doubts do not fade. The case is closed, but the mystery is just beginning. Chapter 3. Jack Ruby. Silencing the truth? Sunday morning. The city of Dallas is still in shock. The president is gone. His killer, Lee Harvey Oswald, is in police custody. But something feels wrong. People want answers. They want justice. Inside the police station, officers prepare to move Oswald. He will be taken from the city jail to another location. Reporters crowd the basement. Cameras are ready. Millions are watching on television. The doors open. Oswald appears. He wears a dark sweater. His hands are tied in front of him. His face is pale. He looks forward, stepping carefully. 2 officers hold his arms. Reporters call out. Cameras flash. The air is thick with tension. Then, out of the crowd, a man steps forward. A gun in his hand. A single shot. Oswald's body jerks. He gasps, eyes wide. His knees buckle. He falls. Gasps echo through the room. Officers tackle the shooter. Reporters scream. The cameras keep rolling. Chaos. Oswald groans on the ground. Blood spreads across his stomach. His breaths grow weak. His body trembles. The officers rush to help him. A stretcher appears. He is carried away. At Parkland Hospital, doctors work fast. They know this place too well. Just 2 days ago, Kennedy had been here. Now, another man is dying. The same hands that tried to save the president now try to save his killer. It is no use. Oswald takes his last breath. He will never stand trial. He will never explain his side of the story. He will never reveal if he acted alone or if he was part of something bigger. The man who shot him. Jack Ruby. A nightclub owner, a man with connections. He is pulled away by officers. His face is tense, his hands shaking. The reporters shout, "Why did he do it? What was his reason?" "I had to," Ruby says. "I wanted to spare Mrs. Kennedy the pain." It is a strange answer. Some believe him. They say he was angry, that he loved Kennedy, that he could not stand to see Oswald live another day. Others do not believe it at all. Jack Ruby had a past, a history of trouble. He ran clubs. He knew the police. He knew the criminals. He had connections to powerful people. The questions grow. Did he act alone, or was he sent to silence Oswald? Ruby is taken to jail. He does not cry. He does not shout. He sits in his cell, waiting. The trial begins. The courtroom is full. The world watches. The lawyers speak. The evidence is presented. The jury decides. Guilty. Jack Ruby is sentenced to death. But the story is not over. He appeals. He says the trial was unfair. He says he was sick. He says he was not in his right mind. His lawyers argue. The case is reopened. Then, another twist. Jack Ruby falls ill. His body weakens. His skin turns pale. He is taken to the hospital. The doctors examine him. The news is bad. Cancer. A few weeks later, Jack Ruby is dead. Now, both men are gone. Oswald. Ruby. The truth dies with them. The mystery deepens. Some say Ruby was telling the truth, that he acted alone, that he was simply a man in the wrong place, at the wrong time, with too much anger in his heart. Others believe he was part of something much larger, that he was ordered to kill Oswald, that he was a tool in a greater plan, that he was silencing a man who knew too much. The theories grow. The suspicions remain. The truth stays hidden. The case is closed, but the questions never end. Chapter 4. The Warren Commission. Case closed? The world is waiting. The president is dead. His accused killer is dead. His assassin's assassin is dead. The story should end here, but it does not. The questions do not stop. The doubts only grow. People want answers. They want to know what really happened in Dallas that day. The government must respond. An investigation begins. President Lyndon B. Johnson makes an announcement. A special team will look into the assassination. The most important men in the country are chosen: judges, senators, experts. The group is led by Chief Justice Earl Warren. It will be known as the Warren Commission. The commission starts its work. They gather witnesses. They collect evidence. They study every second of the shooting. Hundreds of people are interviewed. Thousands of pages are written. Every detail is examined. The world is watching. The rifle is tested. Experts fire shots. They want to know if one man could have done it. The famous Zapruder film is studied. The only video of the assassination. The frames move slowly. The president waves, then the first shot, then the second, then the fatal bullet. His body falls. The car speeds away. The film is analyzed again and again. The commission presents its conclusion. 1 man, 1 gun, 3 shots. Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. The report is long. 888 pages. Every piece of evidence is included. Every witness is named. Every bullet is traced. The case is closed, but not everyone believes it. Something does not feel right. The report has problems. The facts do not match. The witnesses tell different stories. Some say they heard shots from the grassy knoll, not just the book depository. Others say they saw men with radios, shadows moving where no one should be. Some witnesses disappear. Others change their stories. The magic bullet theory confuses many people. The report says 1 bullet hit both Kennedy and Governor Connally. It passed through the president's back, came out his throat, and hit Connally in the chest, wrist, and thigh. Then it was found, almost undamaged, on a hospital stretcher. Could 1 bullet really do all that? People doubt it. More problems appear. Some witnesses say Oswald could not have fired that quickly. Some experts say the rifle was unreliable. If Oswald was the only shooter, why did people hear gunshots from different places? Rumors begin to spread. Was the commission hiding something? Was there another gunman? Did someone else want Kennedy dead? The doubts grow stronger. Some people say the government rushed the investigation. They wanted to calm the public. They wanted to stop fear. They wanted people to believe that there was no bigger plan. Others look at the men in the Warren Commission, powerful politicians, judges, even people with connections to the CIA. Were they really looking for the truth? Or were they protecting something? More documents are locked away. Many files about the assassination remain classified. The public cannot see them. Not yet. Why? What is inside? What is being kept secret? Years pass. The Warren Commission's report remains the official story. 1 man, 1 gun, 3 shots, but the doubts never disappear. People write books. Investigators search for more evidence. Private detectives look for missing witnesses. Theories spread. Some believe Kennedy was killed because he wanted too much change. He had enemies, powerful men, people who did not want war with Cuba, people who did not want to lose power. Some think the CIA was involved. Others say it was the mafia. Some believe it was a mix of both. In 1979, a new investigation begins. The House Select Committee on Assassinations looks at the case again. They listen to old evidence. They study new facts. They come to a different conclusion. There was likely a second gunman, a conspiracy. But who was the second shooter? Who planned it? The answers never come. The truth remains out of reach. The Warren Commission closed the case. But for the world, it remains open. Chapter 5. The 2025 Documents. What was revealed? 60 years have passed. The world has changed. New leaders, new wars, new technologies. But one mystery remains. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy still haunts history. The questions have never stopped. The doubts have never faded. People still ask, who was truly behind it? For decades, the government kept files hidden, classified, locked away. Papers marked top secret sat in dark rooms, untouched. What was inside? Why couldn't the public see them? The government said it was for national security. Too dangerous, too sensitive. But time brings change. The truth does not stay buried forever. In 2025, the last Kennedy assassination files are released. The world holds its breath. What will they reveal? Journalists rush to read them. Historians open old reports. Investigators study every page. The documents are thousands of pages long. Some names are blacked out. Some lines are missing. But the secrets begin to emerge. One shocking fact appears first. The government knew more than they admitted. The CIA had documents on Lee Harvey Oswald before the assassination. He was being watched. He had traveled to Mexico City. He had visited the Soviet and Cuban embassies. He spoke with mysterious men. But the reports at the time said he was just a lone gunman. Why was this information hidden? A memo shows something chilling. A few weeks before the assassination, a warning was sent to the FBI. Someone had threatened the president's life. Someone knew it was coming. But the warning was ignored. Why? Was it a mistake? Or something worse? More files reveal strange connections. A group inside the CIA had talked about Kennedy in the months before his death. They saw him as a problem. He wanted change. He wanted peace with Cuba. He wanted to break the CIA into pieces. Did they see him as a threat? The documents also mention Jack Ruby, the man who killed Oswald. He was not just a nightclub owner. He had connections to the mafia. He had spoken to powerful men before the shooting. In one secret report, an agent wrote that Ruby had said something big was coming. But no one listened at the time. The mafia appears in the files again. Kennedy had fought against them. He had sent his brother, Robert Kennedy to stop organized crime. The documents show that mafia bosses were angry. Some wanted revenge. One note, dated weeks before the shooting, hints at a plan to take care of a problem in Washington. Then another discovery, a recording from 1975. A former CIA agent speaks in a private meeting. He says something that sends chills through the room. "We had people in Dallas that day." But the tape ends there. No more words. No more details. The deeper investigators look, the more they find. The Warren Commission was given false information. Witnesses were not called. Important evidence was ignored. Some reports were changed before they were published. The official story was shaped, controlled. The truth was not what the world had been told. For 60 years, people had searched for proof. Now, the documents gave them something real. They did not answer every question. They did not say who fired the gun. But they showed one thing clearly. The assassination was more than just one man with a rifle. The public reacts with shock. Some feel betrayed. Others feel relief. The truth is painful, but now it is known. In the end, the files confirm what many had believed all along. The government knew more than they ever admitted. The assassination was not just a simple crime. It was a moment in history shaped by secrets, by power, by forces working in the shadows. The case is still debated. The arguments never stop. But one thing is certain. The Kennedy assassination was never just about one day in Dallas. It was about politics, enemies, and a world that was changing too fast. And now, at last, the final pieces of the puzzle have been placed on the table. Chapter 6. The CIA and the Mafia. A dark connection? The world sees the president as a man of hope, a leader who speaks of peace, a man who wants to end wars, to bring justice, to change the way things have always been done. But behind the scenes, he has enemies, powerful ones, men who do not like change, men who work in shadows. The CIA, an agency built to protect the country, to stop threats before they begin. But sometimes, those in power see danger where none exists. John F. Kennedy is not trusted by all. His ideas are different. He wants to reduce the CIA's control. He speaks of breaking it apart, of changing how it works. Some inside the agency do not agree with him. Some see him as a problem. The Mafia, men who work outside the law, crime bosses who control money, business, and even politics. Kennedy's brother, Robert Kennedy, is fighting them. He is trying to bring them down. He is sending agents after them, attacking their power. The Mafia does not forget its enemies. Two different groups, one inside the government, one outside. But they have something in common, a shared enemy. The newly released files show meetings that were never meant to be known. Secret conversations between CIA officers and Mafia leaders. Their topic? Cuba. Fidel Castro is in power, a communist, a man the United States wants gone. The CIA has tried to remove him before, but they have failed. Now, they need help. The mafia is willing. They have connections. They have men. They have no fear of using force. The plan is made. Work together to take out Castro. But something changes. Kennedy does not approve. He does not want secret missions. He does not want assassinations. He wants diplomacy, not war. The mission is stopped. The mafia does not get what they were promised. The CIA's plan is ruined. The anger grows. Some believe Kennedy is weak. Some believe he is ruining the country's position in the world. The mafia, once useful to the government, now sees the Kennedys as enemies. The newly released documents show something else. A name, a meeting, a warning. Months before Kennedy's death, a mafia boss is overheard saying, "Something big is coming. The Kennedys won't be a problem anymore." Was it just a threat, or something more? In another report, a former CIA officer admits that they had people in Dallas that day. But why? Watching, protecting, or something else? The words are vague. The report gives no answers. Some witnesses from the day of the assassination claim they saw men in suits. Not police, not Secret Service. Other agents, other operatives. The Warren Commission never investigated these reports. The details were ignored. The deeper the files go, the stranger the story becomes. The lines between government and crime blur. Some men work in both worlds. Some names appear in both investigations. A hidden network. A dark connection. Oswald was called a lone gunman. But what if he wasn't alone? What if he was just one piece in a much bigger game? A man placed in the right spot at the right time. A man whose past made him easy to blame. Jack Ruby, the man who silenced Oswald, had connections to the mafia. He was no stranger to crime bosses. He was no ordinary citizen. He was a man who knew people, who followed orders, who understood how the world of crime worked. Did he act alone? Or was he doing what he was told? Years later, in prison, Ruby makes a statement. His words are strange. He says there was more to the story. He says he was used. He says people in power knew what happened. But before he can explain, his health worsens. His life ends before more can be said. Another voice lost. Another secret buried. The pieces of the puzzle never fit perfectly. The new documents bring more questions than answers. But one thing is clear. The people who wanted Kennedy gone were not few. The CIA had reasons. The mafia had motives. And the connections between them ran deeper than anyone knew. The Warren Commission closed the case. But history does not forget. The truth remains in shadows, waiting to be seen. Chapter 7. Cuba, the Soviet Union, and Cold War tensions. The world is divided. Two great powers stand on opposite sides, the United States and the Soviet Union, democracy and communism. A war fought not with bullets, but with spies, secrets, and fear. The Cold War has no front lines. It is a war of shadows, of power, of who will control the future. The year is 1962. The world comes closer to disaster than ever before. A crisis unfolds in Cuba. The Soviet Union sends nuclear missiles to the island just miles from American shores. The world watches in fear. One wrong move, one mistake, and the world could end in fire. John F. Kennedy stands firm. He orders a blockade. He demands the missiles be removed. For days, the world holds its breath. Then, an agreement is reached. The Soviets back down. The missiles are taken away. The crisis is over. But not everyone is happy. The Soviet Union feels humiliated. Fidel Castro, Cuba's leader, feels betrayed. He wanted protection. He wanted strength. Now, he feels weak. He believes Kennedy will never stop trying to remove him from power. The conflict does not end. The Cold War is still alive. 1 year later, Kennedy is gone. Shot in Dallas, the world is stunned. But some see more than just a tragedy. Some see something deeper, a political killing, a message. The newly released documents bring new details. In the months before the assassination, Lee Harvey Oswald traveled to Mexico City. He visited the Soviet and Cuban embassies. He spoke to men inside. Who did he meet? What was said? The answers are unclear, but one thing is certain. Oswald wanted to go to Cuba. He admired Castro. He believed in his revolution. Did he go alone? Or was he sent? Intelligence reports from the time show something strange. A Cuban exile, a man who once worked for Castro, said he heard whispers of a plot to kill Kennedy. He was ignored. The warning was buried. No action was taken. The Soviet Union's reaction to Kennedy's death was also unexpected. American spies listened to Soviet radio signals. They expected celebration. Instead, there was panic. Soviet leaders feared they would be blamed. They worried the U.S. might attack. Why were they so afraid if they had nothing to do with it? More questions arise. Cuba and the Soviet Union had reasons to hate Kennedy. He had stopped their plans. He had embarrassed them. But would they risk killing him? Would they risk war? Another theory appears. Not the governments themselves, but rogue agents. People inside Cuba, inside the Soviet Union, inside the intelligence world, acting without official orders. Some believed Kennedy was an enemy. Some believed removing him would change history. Could a secret group, a faction working in the shadows, have helped plan his death? Oswald had written to communist groups. He had spoken against the U.S. government. He had trained with pro-Castro activists. Did someone see him as the perfect tool? A man who would take the blame? The Warren Commission ignored these questions. They said Oswald acted alone. But the newly released files suggest otherwise. There were signs, warnings, hidden messages in intelligence reports, details that were never followed. The Cold War was a time of secrets, a time when nations lied, when leaders played dangerous games, when truth was hard to find. Kennedy's death came at a time of high tension, a time when enemies were looking for ways to change the world, a time when a single gunshot could shift history. The official story remains the same. 1 man, 1 gun, 3 shots. But for those who look deeper, the possibilities are endless. Cuba, the Soviet Union, the Cold War, a game of power, a mystery still unsolved. Chapter 8. Secret Files and Hidden Evidence. The case is closed. That is what the government says. That is what the reports claim. The Warren Commission has spoken. 1 man, 1 gun, 3 shots. But people are not convinced. The story feels incomplete. There are too many unanswered questions. Too many voices ignored. Too many pieces missing. The day of the assassination, people saw things. People heard things. Their stories did not match the official version. Some said the shots came from behind. Others said they came from the grassy knoll, a place where no gunman was ever found. Some swore they saw men moving in the shadows before and after the shots were fired, but their words were dismissed. Some spoke too loudly. Then they were gone. A key witness, a man who worked near Dealey Plaza, said he saw smoke rise from behind a fence. He said he heard a shot from that direction. Weeks later, he was dead. A car crash. No witnesses, no investigation. A woman who filmed the motorcade from a different angle said she saw something strange. She said she had evidence. She turned over her film to the authorities. It was never seen again. A police officer who ran toward the grassy knoll minutes after the shooting found muddy footprints behind the fence. He found cigarette butts, as if someone had been waiting there. He reported what he saw. His notes disappeared. The famous Zapruder film, the only full video of the assassination, was studied again and again. But something was odd. Some frames looked different, as if parts had been removed, edited. The rifle found in the Texas school book depository was examined. Oswald was said to have fired 3 shots, but experts tested the gun. It was difficult to aim. It was slow to reload. Could one man really have done it? Years later, a new investigation began. More evidence was reviewed. A new conclusion was made. The first report had been wrong. There had been at least 2 shooters. But who was the second gunman? The answer never came. Documents were locked away. The government said they would be released one day. But every time the date came closer, it was delayed. Decades passed. The secrets stayed hidden. Until now. In 2025, the last classified files are made public. The truth begins to appear. One report reveals an unknown fingerprint found on a box in the sniper's nest. It did not belong to Oswald. It did not belong to any police officer. It belonged to a man with a criminal past, a man connected to powerful people. But at the time, this detail was ignored. Another document speaks of a witness who called the FBI just hours after the assassination. He said he saw 3 men running from the scene. He gave descriptions. He was never questioned again. There is a memo from the CIA written before the assassination. It discusses Oswald. It says he had been watched. It says he had made threats. It says he had connections that were concerning. But the Warren Commission never received this information. The deeper the investigators look, the darker the truth becomes. Some files are still missing. Some names are still blacked out. Some voices will never be heard. But one thing is clear. Someone hid something. The world may never know exactly what. Chapter 9. Truth or Conspiracy? 60 years have passed. The questions remain. Investigators have searched. Historians have studied. Journalists have uncovered hidden files. But no single answer has ever been found. The assassination of John F. Kennedy is a mystery that refuses to be solved. For some, the official story is enough. One man, one rifle, 3 shots. A troubled individual acting alone. A tragic day, but not part of a larger plan. Lee Harvey Oswald pulled the trigger, and history changed forever. For others, the story does not make sense. There are too many gaps, too many contradictions, too many people who saw something different, who heard more than 3 shots, who felt that the truth was buried before it was ever told. Theories have been built piece by piece. Some believe that it was an inside job, that powerful figures in the government had reasons to remove Kennedy. He wanted peace, but some wanted war. He wanted to weaken the CIA, but some needed it strong. He wanted to stop the mafia, but they wanted revenge. Did men in power make a choice? Did they decide that one life had to end for their own control to continue? The newly released documents raise even more doubts. Information that was once classified shows that the government knew more about Oswald than they admitted. They were tracking him, watching him. Some even say he had been used before, as an informant, as an agent, as a piece in a bigger puzzle. Could he have been manipulated? Could he have been a scapegoat? Some researchers point to the evidence that was lost or destroyed, witnesses who changed their stories, others who never got the chance. Some died under strange circumstances. Some were silenced by fear. What happens when too many people know too much? The Warren Commission said the case was closed. The House Select Committee on Assassinations said there was likely a second shooter. The government never fully explained why so many reports contradicted their own conclusions. The bullet that changed history was said to be magic, able to travel through 2 men, making multiple wounds, and still be found in almost perfect condition. Can that be true, or was it placed there? The Zapruder film, the only complete video of the assassination, shows the moment Kennedy was hit. Some say his body moved in a way that suggests a shot from the front. Others believe that slow motion can be deceiving. The argument never ends. If there was a second shooter, where did he stand? Behind the fence on the grassy knoll? Inside another building? Or was it just an illusion? Some think Cuba played a role, that Fidel Castro had reason to strike back after Kennedy tried to remove him. Some say the Soviet Union wanted revenge after the humiliation of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Others believe the mafia, angry about the Kennedy brothers' war against organized crime, decided to make an example of the president. Every answer leads to another question. Every new piece of information raises new doubts. In the end, there are 2 possibilities. Either history happened exactly as the government said it did, or something deeper, something hidden, something dark has remained in the shadows for decades. The truth may never be known. And maybe that was the plan all along. Chapter 10. The Final Verdict. What do you believe? Now you've heard it all. The story, the evidence, the silence, the secrets. You've walked through the past, piece by piece, fact by fact. You've heard the voices that were almost lost, the whispers that became questions, the questions that never found answers. It began in Dallas, a bright day, a crowd full of joy. Then, gunshots. In one moment, everything changed. A young president, full of promise, was gone. The world froze, and the world we knew became something different. The man accused? Lee Harvey Oswald, arrested quickly, denied it all, called himself a patsy. Before he could speak again, he was shot. On live television, by a man named Jack Ruby. That too seemed strange, too perfect, too sudden. We were told it ended there. Case closed. But it never really did. There were witnesses who saw more, people who heard something unusual, details that didn't match, a bullet that seemed too perfect, a timeline that felt too tight, a killer who maybe wasn't acting alone. Then there were the players in the shadows, intelligence agencies, organized crime, angry exiles, secret meetings, men who didn't like Kennedy's plans. His enemies were powerful. His ideas were dangerous to them. He wanted peace when others wanted control. The official version stayed firm. 1 shooter, 3 shots, a simple crime. But you've seen behind the curtain now. There were hidden files, pages marked top secret, locked away for decades. Why? What were they afraid we would see? In 2025, some of those papers were finally released. Not all of them, but enough. Enough to show there was more to this story. The CIA had followed Oswald. They knew his movements. They had reports about his trips, his meetings, his letters. Why didn't they stop him? Or did they not want to? The mafia had reason to be angry. The Kennedy brothers were coming after them. Arrests, trials, investigations. Some say the mob wanted revenge. And Jack Ruby? He had friends in that world. Cuba felt betrayed. The Soviet Union felt humiliated. The Cold War was hot with tension. Kennedy had blocked their plans. He had made them look weak. Some believe his death was their answer. And then there's the film, the slow, silent frames, showing the president's head move sharply. Some say it proves a shot from the front. Others say it's just the force. There were footprints behind fences. Men with radios near the scene. Evidence that vanished. Witnesses who died young. You've heard it all. So now the story belongs to you. Was it just one man with a gun? Or was it a carefully planned mission? A coup hidden in plain sight? Did the government protect us? Or protect itself? Are we meant to know? Or was the truth always meant to stay hidden? History is made of stories. Some are told, some are kept quiet, Some fade away, but others never leave. They live in books, in memories, in questions whispered late at night. What happened that day in Dallas may never be fully known. But now you carry the pieces. You've walked through every chapter. You've seen the faces. You've felt the fear, the silence, the loss. You've heard the magic bullet theory. You've followed the paper trail. You've read what they didn't want you to read. So now it's your turn. You decide. Do you trust the story we were told, or do you believe something else happened? That's the final question. That's your final verdict. And maybe that answer is the most important of all.